Why does this always happen? Whenever we park somewhere nice and remote, we never get any mobile signal. So you know what? Today we're going to test out a few different options for getting a better 4 and 5G signal so you can still have data when you're camping. Let's take a look. So I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, how can you talk about this subject when you don't have a van to test it on? Well, same issue happens, and we've got our trusty car here with us today. And it's basically what happens when you're inside a metal box with your phone. You end up creating a Faraday cage around yourself, and that blocks a load of mobile phone signal. So if you've ever wondered why the signal isn't as good when you're sitting in the car or the van as to when you're sitting outside, that's why. So one of the biggest challenges is trying to get signal from outside inside your van. And one of the ways you can do that is by using external aerials. So we've got a couple of different pointing antennas here. We've got a small puck type, we've got a larger MIMO, and we've got a couple of different routers. So these plug with a load of cables into boxes like these. We'll go through each of those, and I'll talk to you about what each of those options are. And I'm going to do some speed testing. So I'm going to use the normal speedtest.net site, and I'm going to try it with my phone as well. I'm going to take 3 different tests of each combination, and I'll explain about this in a minute. And then we'll see what the averages are. So we are at Watergate Bay Car Park down in Cornwall, which you can see behind me. Absolutely beautiful. I think the weather's going to be getting nicer again later, so not quite as nice as it could be down here at the minute, but at least it's not raining, which is good. So we're going to test this. If you've ever been here, it's right in a dip, and it's really challenging to get a mobile signal here. And if I have a look at my phone now, so all of this test that we're going to do is going to be on the EE network. So my phone is on EE, and I've got a plan which gives me the maximum speed possible, so it's not got any caps on it or anything like that. And I'm going to be using a 1P mobile SIM in the routers which I've got here to test, and that's a pay-as-you-go, but it uses the EE network, and it also doesn't have any speed caps or anything like that on it. So same mobile network, all of them do 5G if it's possible. One of the routers does 5G, the other one does 4G. So again, we can see what difference that makes. But if I have a look at my phone now, I have got 2 bars of 5G outside the car just here. So let's nip inside the car. I'll explain what we're going to do in a bit more detail in terms of testing and all that kind of thing. And then let's crack on. Oh, that's a bit better. We're coming outside the wind. Right, so the different tests that we're going to do, they're going to be, and by the way, now I'm inside the car, I've only got 1 bar of 5G. So the tests that we're going to do are going to be my phone. So we'll just do my iPhone 13 Pro, and we're just going to see what that can do inside the car. I'm then going to have a go with this, which is a ZTE MF971V, if you wanted the model in particular. And this is basically called a MiFi. So it's got Wi-Fi built in, so you can connect your phone to it, but then it's got a SIM card in it, which then talks to the outside world. So we're going to try this. I'm just going to put it on the dashboard, try and give it a chance to see the outside world, and then we'll see what speed this can do on its own. But the reason I'm using this one is because it's also got, if you can just see on the side there, you probably could just about see, it's got antenna ports. So I'm going to plug this into the small little puck antenna, which is on the roof, and give that a test. And then I'm going to plug it into the big shark fin type antenna, which is on the roof, and we'll give that a test. Then we're going to go up to the big daddy-o. So it's a Teltonika RUTX50, get it right. That one is a 5G twin aerial. So it's actually got 4 aerials, but I'll explain a bit more when we get to it. We're going to try that with both of those antennas on the roof as well individually and see what kind of performance we get. In theory, the most expensive option, so the Teltonika router and that massive great shark fin aerial on the roof, that should give us the best performance out of any of these options. So it'll be an interesting test to see whether that's true. We're trying to think about what we want on our new van when we get it. So I'm really looking forward to doing this test actually, because this is a particularly tricky place to try and get signal. So let's see what kind of performance we get, and I'll talk to you about the different specs as we go along all the way through. Right, let's do the iPhone then. So these results then, we're going to have to try another 2 times, get the average, and then let's see where we've got to. Right, so after the 3 tests, we've now got an average of 8.85 download and 0.31 upload. So that's just off my phone, sitting in that holder in the car. Let's get on and give this ZTE a quick try then. Right, let's do the same again. Okay, so the way that this ZTE works, you just let it boot up, and then it will hunt for a signal, which hopefully it's going to find 4G. We've got it at the top there, connecting. It's on 1P mobile, which is good. So at the moment it looks like it's got 1 bar of 4G. So I'm just going to pop it in the windscreen to try and give it a bit of a chance, because that's part of the idea. And then on the phone, you go to, wherever we are, Wi-Fi, and it's connected to the ZTE there. So now I'm just going to record the screen on my iPhone. Now we're going to do another speed test, and it's on Wi-Fi. So we're going to hit go. Now let's have a quick look and see what this manages to do. So we're just going to let this speed test run, and then we're going to do it another 2 times so we can take the average just to see where we get to. Right, so that's all done, and we've left ourselves now with an average of 5.7 down and 1.6 up. So faster on the upload than the phone, but actually slightly slower than the phone on the download. Right, let's get some external antennas then. So I think let's try that little puck first with that ZTE. So that little puck, it's a pointing Puck 2. It's magnetic, so you can put it on the roof. It also comes with a pole mount as well if you want to use that. And it's got 2 aerial plugs which come with it. That ZTE MiFi that we're going to test it with has also got 2 antenna sockets, so we'll plug it straight into those. That antenna, that puck, is about 60-ish pounds, 60, 70 pounds, something like that. I'll put all the links in the description below for all of these things that we're using so you can see. Right, so all I've done, stuck it on the roof. I'm going to plug it into that MiFi, and let's see how that works. Right, so the way this antenna connects, you've got these couple of plugs here. Trouble is, on the ZTE, there isn't anywhere for those to go straight into like that. So you have to use something called a pigtail. So that's this, which is a little adapter cable, which you screw one end onto the antenna and then the other end plugs straight into there. So let me just assemble all of that. I'm going to put it back on the dashboard where it was before, so you'll be able to see, but you'll just see a cable coming over, and then we'll run those speed tests. Okay, so we're still connected to the Wi-Fi, which is from the MiFi unit on the top. You can see antennas plugged into it on both sides. So let's give it a go now. Now you would think this is going to be better with the external antenna. Let's see what it does. Remember, we're going to do it another 2 times to get the average. Right, so that actually picked up a little bit at the end, and the last test was 13.3 down. But that said, the average of the 3, 7.1 and then 1.2, so 7.1 download and 1.2 upload. So a bit of a mixed bag really with that small puck antenna. Let's connect that to the big shark fin antenna and see whether that makes any difference. Okay, right, we've connected up to that big shark fin antenna, and as you can see, it's got multiple connectors for it, because that shark fin antenna has also got Wi-Fi antennas built in, and it's also got another pair of connectors for a second mobile antenna, or pair of mobile antennas, and it's also got GPS too. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, because actually there's some quite clever stuff that you can do with that aerial if you've got the right router, but this is quite a basic one. So exactly the same as before then, obviously all plugged in there, and if we go back to our trusty speed test app on the phone, it's all connected on Wi-Fi, same unit. If I have a look, it's still saying we've got 2 bars, so it hasn't really changed from what we were doing before. So if I hit go on here, right, now we've got this plugged into one of the best antennas. Let's see what it gets, and let's do it another couple of times just so we can get the average. Right, that's all done, and we've got a result of 7.8 down and 3.3 up. So with that big antenna on the roof and this small little ZTE, we've had the best upload by far, actually double the previous best, which is great, and we've had the second best download, and the only one better was from the iPhone itself. So now we're going to crack on and we're going to get onto the Teltonika RU-TX50 router, and we're going to test that with both of those antennas. Now the RU-TX50 router is pretty special. Now it's not cheap. We're talking £500–600 worth of router. We've been lent it to give this a test, not sponsored in any way, and it's special because it's got 2 SIM card sockets, so you could have it with, say, an EE SIM and then a 3 SIM or a Vodafone SIM, and you can set the router up to automatically switch between the two depending on whether one's got a stronger signal than the other one and all that kind of clever stuff. I've not done any of that with this because what I wanted to do, I have tested that stuff and it works great, but this was a test about speed, what type of aerial gets you the best coverage and how you get better Wi-Fi in the van. So I've not done that setup with this. I'm just using the 1P mobile SIM on it. It's also got GPS built in, so when you use it with an antenna like this big shark fin one with all these multiple connectors on the back, it means that you can track that router remotely, because obviously it's got a connection. You can use their monitoring software and then you can see where it is. So it's kind of like a tracker, obviously not Thatcham approved or anything like that, so don't think insurance discount and stuff, but it's just another nice feature that it's got. And it's also got built-in Wi-Fi with external antennas. So obviously this little MiFi unit here, the Wi-Fi is just inside it. So if you had this inside the van and then you were sitting outside the van, the Wi-Fi might be a bit average. Whereas with the Teltonika router, and again one of these shark fin antennas, you can connect the Wi-Fi into the antenna on the roof, which obviously then gives you some coverage outside as well if you want it. So first test we're going to do with it, Teltonika router, small little Puck 2 magnetic roof aerial. Let's see what we can get with that. Oh, and I should say that the RU-TX50 also does 5G, so that might give us the speed boost that we're looking for here rather than 4G, because this little ZTE, this is only 4G, but my phone is 5G, so let's see what we can get. Okay, so here's our RU-TX50. I've just got one set of antennas connected to it, as you can see, and that's because we're using that little small puck antenna. And yes, it's sitting on this massive Aferi power bank, 2000 watt huge capacity battery pack, which we are going to review coming up shortly on the channel. But because I've only got a 240 volt power adapter for this particular router, it does work on 12 volt, I just haven't got the cable, that's all. It's the only way I can power this to be able to do this test here. So you can see on the front it's obviously got various lights. It's also got a built-in little router as well. It's quite a serious bit of kit, this, and it's already telling me that it's found 4 and 5G from that SIM, so I've got high hopes for this. So let's go and run that test. Right, so we're all connected. We've got Wi-Fi to it. We're on EE because it knows and it's connected, so let's give this a try. You'd think this would be a good result with such a great router, but let's see. It's only got the small antenna. Remember, 2 more times after this to get the average. Right, all the tests are done and we've ended up with an average of just 2.8 and 0.9. So 2.8 download, 0.9 upload across those 3 tests. I'm really surprised at that. I thought that router, even with a smaller antenna on the roof, I thought that was going to fly. So now we're going to plug all of those cables in. So we're going to have all of the antennas from that big shark fin antenna, which is technically a MIMO 4x4, so that's 4 antennas, and it can merge 4 different downloads together into one from one SIM card to try and get the best possible speed. Your iPhone does it as well if you've got a modern iPhone like an iPhone 13 Pro. So this should give us the best result of all. Let's see what it does. Right, I'm really excited to see what this is going to do. Let's go. This should give us the best result of all. It's a great router, great antenna. Let's run it another couple of times just to make sure we get the average as well. Wow. Okay, so we've got the results in. So for that RU-TX50 plus the shark fin antenna on the roof, we have got 26.4 download and 5.1 upload. So by far and away the fastest download and upload speeds that we've seen today from all that testing. So basically the conclusion is you need a really good router and you need a really good antenna, not just one or the other, if you really want the fastest Wi-Fi. So there you go, that is the conclusion. Unfortunately, it's just going to cost quite a bit of money if you want the best possible speeds in the most difficult places. Obviously, the test that we've done here today, just me, laptop, phone, not really a controlled environment particularly, but I think this is hopefully representative of the kind of thing that you would do in your van, where you'd pull up next to a beach, might be in a really pretty spot or whatever, and you just want to try and get the best possible speed. If you're overnighting there, wild camping, those kind of things, you want to watch a bit of Netflix, a bit of streaming TV, listen to some music, maybe make a YouTube video and upload it, all of those kind of things. You need good internet these days, and there you go. This proves conclusively, unfortunately, you're going to have to spend some money if you really want to get it and you want it to be reliable. That said, the iPhone, just on its own, inside the car, gave us an average of 8.9 down and 0.3 up. So if it's just download stuff, so if it's just reading things, not really having to upload anything or, you know, send anything to anyone, if it's just, you know, reading the news, maybe doing a bit of streaming and things, that would probably do you. If you started to share that connection with other people, that might get a bit more tricky because obviously you're cutting it down the more people are using it. Again, if you use the router, you use the big antenna on the roof, which you can, I'm using it on a magnet, it doesn't have to be drilled in through the roof or anything like that. 26.4 down and 5.1 up, that really has completely blown the others out the water today. Hopefully this video has been helpful for you. I have put links in the description below for all the different things that we've been trying. Obviously there's a huge range of cost here as well, so very conscious that there's different things for different people. Hopefully it's been helpful, some real world testing for you. Let me know in the comments below as well what you use and what your preference is for when you go out in your van and you need internet. Do you just use your phone? Have you got a funky setup? Is there something even better than this? And I'm not talking about Starlink, not because I'm anti or anything like that. That's like a whole different prospect, of course, in terms of monthly cost and all of those kind of things, because I know a lot of you are starting to use Starlink now as well, which looks absolutely amazing. I don't know whether I want to pay that monthly charge for it though, so I'm trying to scale back a little bit from that. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Really good to talk to you again and do something slightly different. I know you're getting a bit sick and tired of seeing vans all the time, trying to do a few different things. Hopefully they're helpful for me or for you. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon for some more camper van time.